Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're regular here, you know I review many photographic, audio and video related products. Well, today we're looking at an old camera, and it came out in 2007, actually the same year that Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone to the world, and we know what that done to photography, certainly compact cameras anyway. And the camera we're looking at is something that revolutionised my industry as well, my business, which is the Nikon D300, which I have here. Now, the D300 was a fabulous camera. It really was fabulous in its day. It's only a 12 megapixel sensor camera, so you're not going to be able to do a lot of cropping with it. If you get the image right in the viewfinder and you get it right, you know, on the day, then you're winning. It's a really, really nice camera. I've got some sample images on my computer. I've uploaded them to my Flickr site. Now, these sample images are of two dates, really, dating back to 2007, actually 2008, when I took the camera to Australia and Singapore with me, and also a couple of days ago when I took some out in the garden. So it is actually still, even today, 16 years after its release date, well, coming up to 17 really, it is still a fabulous camera, and I can highly recommend it because it's so cheap. I mean, I got this one off MPB because my original one disappeared years ago, but I got this one off MPB. I think I paid 60 quid for it. And it's in pretty decent condition. You know, you're not going to get anything in pristine condition at that, you know, of that age, but it's in pretty decent condition. The sensor is clean. I mean, it's a DSLR as opposed to a mirrorless camera, so it is bulkier and it's heavier than your modern counterparts, and it has an optical viewfinder as opposed to an electronic viewfinder. I find that quite difficult to use these days because I've got so used to using mirrorless. I love mirrorless because what you see is what you get. If the exposure is up or down in the viewfinder, that's what it's going to be when you take the photograph. Not the case with a DSLR. You can't see that in the viewfinder because it's a live view, you know. But all being said though, it takes really nice images. In fact, I think it takes lovely images. I love the colour science and I really love the texture. It looks more like a film photograph taken on film than it does on digital. The camera itself is full of features, even nowadays. I was quite surprised actually, because I hadn't used the D300 for a long time, and I had forgotten how good it really is as far as functionality. It's got a really good grip. It is heavy. It's a lot heavier than I would want to use in this day and age. I can't believe I took that around, you know, Australia with me every day. But of course I was a lot younger then, so I didn't really, you know, I wouldn't have noticed it. It's got a large, I think it's 3-inch, maybe 2.5-inch LCD screen on the back. It's not tilting, but you know, it didn't in those days. You got used to that. It takes compact flash cards. You open the card doors just by flicking this lever on the back here. Then the door on the side will open where your compact flash card goes. You will need to get a card reader that can read compact flash cards because, you know, they're not a modern format these days. But most card readers, you can get them for about 10 quid off Amazon. I got one here. But it's a multi-card reader, USB 3. It takes compact flash, SD, SDX in, a whole range of other sort of media. So they're not difficult to get. So yeah, compact flash card in the side there. It's got a nice LCD display on the top, which shows you, you know, your shutter speeds, apertures, battery condition, exposure compensation, and all the rest of it. But I do like the top plate. It is really easy, you know, to get to the different functions, whether it be ISO, white balance, exposure compensation, whatever, you know, you need to adjust. And I think that is impressive. I really do think that is impressive. It takes your Nikon F-mount lenses. I've got 2 or 3 of them. I've got one here. This is the 18. Is this the 18 to 105? Yeah, the 18 to 105 kit lens. Not bad. You know, it's pretty decent. It's not the best, but it's pretty decent. But some of my best photographs I've taken in the garden was with the 50mm f1.8. That's a nice lens. That's a nice sharp lens I've got on here. Very compact and again very cheap. Great camera to handle. It's got all the function buttons you're going to need of a camera of this age, as long as you can adjust ISO, exposure compensation and what have you. And you've got 2 master control dials, one on the back, one on the front, which hasn't really changed much over the years, has it? That's pretty traditional, and that's what you expect to find. And you can review your pictures on the back of the screen. That works fine, that works no problem at all. You can see there some pictures I took in the garden, and they load pretty quickly, and you can zoom in on them, so you can check your focus. So all in all, a pretty decent camera, in fact a very decent camera, but still, even nowadays, still does take really decent pictures. Built like a tank, so it's very much long lasting, and is, you know, a great all-rounder and a great workhorse. It'll take thousands of photographs before the shutter dies on you. I'm not sure how many this one's done. I think this one had done about 50 odd thousand, and it's still tickety-boo, you know, no problem with it whatsoever. So yeah, this camera, although the Nikon D300, I've done a video actually, I linked to the video at the end of this one, on my faults of a Nikon D300 and how that revolutionised my business. It completely revolutionised my business. But what this camera enabled me to do was go that one step further. We could take on jobs but the D300 really wasn't, wasn't capable of doing, because of a higher pixel count. So we could take on corporate jobs and bigger jobs, which is what we've done. Now, images. These are just a few that I took in Australia in 2007. But yeah, these are, you know, great images. And I mean, they're not pin sharp in the sense of what you would expect these days, but they've got a really filmic look about them. And they're just really nice as far as texture and tonal range. And I've blown those pictures up, those Australian pictures up, really big poster sized prints, and I've got some lovely quality prints, but it's the texture that I really like. Really nice tonal range, you know, and they are sharp, but as you say, you can't crop in too tight because it is only a 12 megapixel sensor, so you've got to be really careful how you crop the image. But I just really like its tonal range, and it looks more like film than it does digital. I just love its look. And when you look at some of the images taken with a better lens, I'll show you actually a few here that I took with the f1.8 lens, which is going to be somewhere here. All these images were taken with the 50mm f1.8 lens, and it goes to show you can get some really nice sharp images. So, you know, under 100 quid for a body, 100 odd pounds for you know, something like the 50mm lens, and I know other lenses are going to be really cheap as well. They're all autofocus because the camera is autofocus. Doesn't have many autofocus points because you didn't have many autofocus points in cameras back then, and the autofocus is nothing like modern day cameras, but you focus and then reframe, and that's what I do, and I've had no issues with that. We've been doing that for years and years. Yeah, just the clarity. But as if you take a look at them on Flickr, you can see the tonal range is just so beautiful. And again, I'm looking at the tonal range there between the contrast. It's just really contrasty, but in a filmic look. So yeah, I love the results that are coming off the Nikon D300. They're all shot on auto white balance. I haven't done anything clever with a white balance. Aperture priority, and look at that, just really do like that. It's got a really nice look to it. So yeah, the Nikon D300, old camera, say 2007, the same year as the iPhone, but I think it's a great camera, and I think that if you're on a tight budget, a really tight budget, you can't go wrong with a second-hand D300. Or if you just want to play with, you know, some of these older cameras, you don't want to spend a lot of money, or you just want to get into photography and you don't want to spend a lot of money. These old cameras have still got life in them, and they'll still take really nice images if you pair the body with a decent lens. I only got one memory card slot, which is the compact flash card slot, so, you know, just be conscious of that. You know, still absolutely fine. I never had any corruption issues when I went to Australia, never had any, and also running it in the business, never had any issues. We took thousands of images with these cameras over the years, never had any issues with them at all. I have noticed though, this flap is a bit, well, well, it's not very good actually. It's obviously worn out, but not fitting properly. But yeah, great camera, nice screen, nice sharp screen on the back for viewing your images. Yeah, what more can I say? There we go, the Nikon D300, nice handling camera. As I said, although the D70 revolutionised my business as far as digital photography is concerned, this upped the game. So we could actually, you know, as I said earlier, take on better clients and take on higher quality work. So there we go. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you found this video useful. Don't forget to take a look at the images on Flickr. There will be a link in the description below. And stay tuned for more videos relating to video photography, podcasting, and more videos relating to these older cameras. It seems to me that you quite enjoy looking at these videos on the older cameras. As I've done one on the Nikon D70, the Olympus XZ2, which is a really, really nice little camera, ZX2, XZ2, I'm not sure. Really, really nice little camera I use a lot now. That's only 12 megapixel. Take a look at that video as well. So there we go. Thanks very much. Cheers for now. Enjoy the channel. And thanks for subscribing. Cheers. Bye.